United States Dressage Federation welcomes you to Scottsdale, Arizona, and the 1998 National Dressage Symposium. My name is Bill Woods. On Volume 1 of this set, Kira Kirkland begins with the basic work of training level, first analyzing and then refining the rider's positions. Later, she will ride a first-level horse to explain her ABCs, the underlying relationships she insists must be in place in order to proceed to more advanced work.
The rider's body is the beginning of everything. The rider has to be able to move the different parts where they want it to be. And I always start, when I correct the rider's seat, from the middle part of the rider, because that is the part that always influences the horses. If the rider is sitting crookedly, for instance, hanging over to the right side, he will always ask the horse to go to the right, because the horse doesn't want to be unbalanced. So if the rider is hanging on the right side, he will start to go to the right to get the rider more in the middle of himself. Then most riders don't even feel that they sit crookedly. And then they start to steer the horse with the left rein and the right leg. And then maybe the horse goes on the straight line, but maybe he goes on the straight line, but he's still, the rider at that moment has already used 3 of his biggest aids, and that's the weight aid, the steering rein, and the pushing leg. Instead of really being able to sit still and just go with the horse and let the horse find his own balance. You can change rein in between. So you probably many times have heard that use more back, be stronger in your back, ride more with your back. And even if the back is important, it's even more important with the muscles in the tummy. If somebody of you have had troubles with your back, having back pain, for instance, then maybe you have gone to a physiotherapist and you have had to train your tummy muscles to get stronger in the tummy so that that can release your back. And that's really, I think, one of the biggest problems in riding, that people say ride more with your back and they start to hollow the back or get round in the back, instead of getting strong in the front of the rider. If you look at those 2 riders here, you can sit down in trot once. You can just sit down. And if you look first at the gray horse with Chris, her middle part is quite nice in the middle of the horse. Her leg position is also quite nice. When we are talking dressage, we are talking about the different lines. You have the shoulder, hip, heel line, and then you have the elbow, rein to the horse's mouth. That should be a straight line also. And then you also have the knee and the toe that should be in the same line. I think Chris has a nice middle part. She's moving well with the horse, and she also has a nice leg. What we are going to work with Chris on is a little bit her upper body. She gets a bit stiff in her elbows, they get a bit drawn up, and she has like her center of gravity a little bit too much up. Then if we look at Jennifer, she is a bit weaker still in her seat. That's also comes with age and comes with more riding training. If you train in the right way, then you will get stronger. And stronger, I don't mean that you can squeeze harder or pull harder. We have a connection problem. Or pull harder. It's just that you have to be more steady in the body. Otherwise, it sits quite well in the middle of the horse. We would like her leg, if you look at her knee, it's going a little bit too much forward, and she is almost, the lower leg goes also a little bit forward. So she is a little bit in the position of hanging on to the reins, a little bit like when you are surfing. You hang on to the rein and then suddenly, or to the lead, and then suddenly if the boat stops and if the horse stops, then you will fall over into the water. You can say that the seat and position is absolutely the basic for everything, and unfortunately in riding we haven't been good enough to explain that, and to explain that to the riders and to the kids in the riding school, and maybe also to the riding teachers. But we really want to make the riders sit as well as possible. You have to be able to be relaxed in your muscles without getting floppy, and you have to get strong in the muscles without getting tense, and that's maybe the hardest part. If you go back to Jennifer, I said that her middle part, I would start with her to get her tummy a bit stronger. And then I would go on correcting her leg position and her upper body position. And if you can come here first, Chris. Okay, you can stop there. If you look at Chris, I mean, you have a good, nice middle part here, and the leg is in a nice angle. I also think that you have a good length of stirrup. Very many times we think that only because we ride dressage we have to have long stirrups. So then the knee gets too straight and the toe gets dropped down, and then you just get tense in the inside. You can never really wrap around the horse because the legs are too straight. When the knee is straight, you can never come around the horse. You can never open enough in your crutch and then sit around the horse. So I like an angle in the knee. And the length of the stirrup should be about so that if you let the stirrup loose and keep take up the toe, then you should be able to find the toe without having to pull up the knee too much. Sometimes it's good to, if you feel that you get too short in the stirrup, then ride for a while without stirrups, just so that you let the leg fall down, so that you don't start to take the pressure of your body weight in the stirrup. But then, when we look at your upper body, you can just keep the rein, as you would normally. You get quite tense here. You like sit with your elbows a little bit tense all the time. And so what you should first of all do, and you also easily you drop your hand and then the elbow goes a little bit out. So instead of only correcting your hand, you should really feel that you can drop your elbow and not pushing, squeezing the elbow near, just dropping the elbow. And more think of having the horse in your elbow than in your hand and in the fingers. Many times you hear instructors too saying that just play with the fingers, move your fingers. And that's okay with a really well-ridden, well-schooled and soft horse. But normally, if you ride a young horse or a unschooled horse, then it's not enough that you only move the fingers, because the horse won't react to it. So then you should keep or feel that you have him in your elbow. When you take a rein aid, then you take on both hands, and when you are ready, then you can release. If you just ride with a bit of open fingers and play with the fingers all the time, the horse never gets the release. And we can say that the aid, all animal schooling is punishment and reward. And I see the aid as the punishment, and the reward is that you just sit still and let the horse be. Then he is happy. Horses are basically lazy. They like to go out in the pasture and eat grass. So if we can leave them alone, that's the best reward for them. But if you only move your fingers all the time, or you ride a little bit with an open hand, you cannot release fast enough. You can only take and you can only hold on. And then maybe the most important thing with you, you have to really feel, you feel a tension up here, don't you? And you really have to feel that you can push that tension down, like you know a coffee machine where you push the plunger down. And you really have to feel that you can push the tension down into your tummy. And just let your elbows drop and relax. And you really have to feel that you get heavy here, not top heavy here. Because if you have your weight here and he pulls once, then when the weight is here, then he is going to push you forward. If your weight is here, it's much more difficult for him and you don't need to use so much rein aid. And now, if I'm the horse, now I want you to be able to restrict my taking on the rein. So if he's strong and he pushes away like this, then you have to be able to stop him from doing that. But when he doesn't do it, then you have to be able to stop. So you are not allowed to pull back. You just have to be able to say this long but not longer. Like a side rein when you are lunging. He tries to push against the side rein, but when he releases, then the side rein won't pull more back. And if the rein always pulls more back, then he is going to say, better to have the head here. Because when I get on the bit and I'm in the right position, then he still is pushing. And he is much more without possibility to resist you, or he gives in. When he's on the bit and he's soft, then he gives in, and he can't protect himself. So many times the horses goes like this because they protect themselves. They know that here they can take the pull in the mouth and to push out the hind legs there. So that's why the rider gets in trouble. Okay, but then you try now to just sit in the same way, and when there you were pulled out of the saddle. Still, now you are too nice. I mean, if you are that nice to him, then he's never going to give in. Okay, a bit better, but still you feel that now you are strong. Don't pull back, because then he's going to say no. You see that you've come out of the saddle. Okay, now you get the feeling that you keep the elbow in front of you, not pushing it there either, but just that you feel my hand in your elbow. And then you get strong here. More. So like you would sit on the loo having to squeeze.
I'll try.
Yeah, that's it. And now when I pull, you try to do that same thing and feel me in the elbows. Much better. Now don't pull back. So. You feel a different, now you were coming a bit out again. Tummy out. And now I can even pull quite hard here without you coming out of the saddle. Okay, and then you try to feel that you first of all you push, don't look to the left. Yeah, good, look straight forward. And then you try to push down the weight, look straight, good. Push, just let the weight go down behind your tummy button. Look straight. Good. Okay, there is a better position now. And then you push out, or you get strong in your tummy. This is really the only moment a lady is allowed to push out the tummy, I think. And then you go into walk, but with the strong tummy muscle. Look straight. Good. Okay, and then trot on again. Look straight forward, relax in the left shoulder. Oh, good. And go to walk again with a heavy tummy. Look straight, good. Okay, and a long rein. As you see here, when you work this, or when you work like this, you have to be able, don't mind about the horse if he's on the bit or if he's not on the bit. A very good thing is to have the horse on the lunge.
Kira now turns her attention to Jennifer's position.
What I said earlier, that she is a bit like a surfer, that you are a bit too much behind the horse, and you want to be sure that he is not running away. You maybe feel that he is a bit strong, and that's why you stay behind him, so that you really can pull. And the more you stay like that, the more he is going to pull. So what I want you to do is really to think about getting your lower, like your heel, under your seat bone, almost as you would have a strip of rubber keeping the heel under your seat bone. Otherwise, the leg is not, I mean, it easily slides a bit too much forward, and then you get a little bit, then you get a bit behind the horse. Because you do sit a little bit behind him, you are a bit too round in the back. So you have to have the feeling that somebody is pulling you up from, good, so that you get taller, even taller. But, I mean, we like straight upper bodies. Still, somebody pushes up again, or pulls you up again. Good, there. Okay, and then you try to make yourself strong here. Even more. Push against my finger. Push against. Good, there. And that's the muscles you have to train. And I mean, you can train them with sit-ups. You don't only have to do it on the horseback. Again, you are too floppy here. Out. Oh, so. And you have to be able to breathe too when you do that. Okay, and then you both start trotting. And get longer again. Right leg, Jennifer. Right leg. Outside leg, so that he has to turn. We are coming to the aids with the next horse. But otherwise, don't mind, don't look at his head. I have never seen a horse where the head drops off, so you don't need to look if the head stays there. Just look straight forward. Good, Chris. Good, and then a little bit more the right rein. Good, there is better. Tall, long. Good. Elbows near yourself. Long, tall again, push the tummy out. And then I do one more exercise with those two that I usually do a lot. We are going to talk about flexion and bending and the aids. But when you pass me here, I want you to give a big release on your inside rein, so that you push the hand forward, good, towards the horse's mouth, so that you really release the inside for 3 or 4 steps. Good. And every time you go over the center line, you do that. This is you are going to feel that the horse in a while is going to relax. It's a very good exercise, I think, to do to new students, because then I see if, for instance, the rider has been rough with the hand. If the rider, when they give on the rein, the horse chucks the head up, then the horse is used to get a suck in the mouth. And he knows that it's coming and he is going to go up with the head because he is protecting himself. And it's also a very good exercise to get the horse on the outside rein, to get him to suck on the outside rein. Good. Like if we now look at the horses, even if we mostly have been looking at the seat and position, Jennifer has the problem that he is bending the head to the inside. And when he doesn't want to go where she wants him to go, he just turns the head and then the body is going there. And even how much he is pushing, he is just bending the head to the side. And the horse doesn't turn because you turn his head. He can stand in the stable and scratch his hind leg, and he still doesn't need to turn. But if you push the shoulder to the side, then he has to turn. So for Jennifer, it's a very important exercise to feel that you can ride more with your outside rein, with more connection on the outside rein, because the outside rein is always going to say how long the neck is going to be of the horse. If you don't have a connection on the outside rein, you never are going to get the horse to collect correctly. And what is that connection? I mean, connection, different people understand connection or contact very differently. Because you can say that I have contact with this flower now. And I also have contact here with the whole bucket. And I'm more like this contact, the flower contact. Yeah, good. And you see now with Jennifer's horse that he's starting to relax and he wants to go on the bit, not because you are twiddling or trying to do something with the hand, but look up, don't look down. Good, and then get stronger and longer in your front again, Jennifer. Good. Okay, now when you come here, you go into the right canter. Transition right canter, and then when you go up there by C, or when you go over the center line next time, trot again. Okay, and now I want you to do the same transition but with the loose inside rein. Give first on the rein, and then you go into canter. Somewhere the rider has to stop the horse from going forward, faster forward in the trot. When you want to go into the canter, you do use the seat and you do use your leg. If you don't do anything with the hand, the horse just will go faster. He won't go into canter. So somewhere you have to be able to slow the horse down or keep up the same space or speed until he goes into the canter. If you look at Chris' horse now, when she goes into trot, he only can go into the canter. You can go on, Chris, trotting. He's only going to go into the right canter when the right hind leg is in the air and his left hind leg is on the ground. That's the moment when he can push forward to go into the canter. By saying now to me, tell me when you think that he can go into canter. Yeah, that's good. Go on, and then you go into canter here. Now, good. Okay, and then Jennifer the same. Trot first and try to tell me when he can go into canter. Yeah, that's also right. Now. Okay, and then you go into canter. Now. Okay, and he is running away when you want him to go into the canter. So he doesn't really listen to your leg enough for you to be able to be secure enough that he's really going to go into the canter when you want him to do it. Okay, trot again, both of you. And now you once more go on, just go on trotting, one more trot round. And try to flex them a little bit to the left, that you both see the left side of the eye a little bit. And then still with the loose inside rein, you go into canter by C when you go over the center line. Just go on in the trot. I still tell you like one thing, why I want them now to flex a little bit to the outside and still give on the inside rein is because when they do use the leg and they want to go into the canter, I want them to stop the outside or stop the horse a little bit on the outside so that he can reach forward with the inside front leg and inside hind leg. If the riders, when they want to go into the canter, pull on the inside rein, then they will stop the inside pairs of leg to go forward into a nice stride. So they restrict the inside, and then it will be a choppy canter transition. This is a very good exercise for every rider. If you want to be more precise, put up 2 cones here, one here and one here. And then you can do for yourself, going here, doing 10 times transitions. And then you see, can I get it on the right spot? Can I get the right lead? Are they on the bit? Do they continue in the same rhythm before the transition? Do they carry themselves through the transition? When you can do that 10 times on the proper place and where you could give yourself a good score, then you can be pretty sure that you can go in a test and do it. Thanks.
The symposium continues on Volume 2 as Kira expands these basic qualities of attention, balance, and self-carriage to the collected work. Till then, for the USDF, this is Bill Woods.